Welcome to Let's Remember. Today we're taking it back to Juice, a film that wasn't just about the streets, but about friendship, loyalty, and how the hunger for power can tear everything apart. It showed us what it meant to want respect, to chase your dreams, and to face the consequences when the block decides your fate. Juice was a mirror for the culture, with a cast that made every moment unforgettable. So today, we're giving flowers to the people who brought these characters to life and showing love to where they are now. First up is Q, played by Omar Epps in Juice. Q was the DJ with big dreams, the quiet one in the crew trying to stay focused on his music while the streets and the chaos around him pulled everyone in different directions. He wanted more for himself, but was caught between loyalty to his friends and the need to follow his own path. Omar brought heart and realness to Q, making us feel the pressure he was under as things spiraled out of control, especially as Bishop started to change. Whether it was sneaking out to DJ a battle or trying to avoid the drama that was coming, you could feel Q's struggle to keep his peace in a world that wouldn't let him. Omar was just 18 at the time, and Juice was his breakout role, setting him up for a strong career with classics like Higher Learning, Love and Basketball, and The Wood. Now 51, Omar Epps is still acting and writing, keeping that same cool presence that made Q a character you couldn't help but root for, reminding us of the dreams we all had and the pressures that came with trying to chase them while surviving the world around us. Up next is Bishop, played by Tupac Shakur in Juice. Bishop was the wild card of the crew, the one who went from being your friend to becoming your biggest threat, showing how the hunger for power and respect could change someone forever. Tupac brought raw energy and intensity to Bishop, making him one of the most unforgettable characters in Black cinema. From the way he stared down his friends to the moment he said, "I am crazy, and I don't give a..." You could feel the pain, anger, and desperation that lived inside him. Bishop wasn't just a villain, he was a product of the streets, and Tupac made sure you felt every part of that. Tupac was just 20 at the time, and Juice was his first major film role, proving he wasn't just a rapper, but a powerful actor as well. He went on to star in Poetic Justice, Above the Rim, and Gridlocked, while becoming one of the most influential voices in music and culture. Sadly, Tupac was killed in 1996 at the age of 25, but his role as Bishop lives on, reminding us of the cost of chasing the wrong kind of juice, and showing why Tupac's presence is still felt to this day. Moving on, we got Raheem, played by Khalil Kain in Juice. Raheem was the so-called leader of the crew, the peacemaker trying to keep Q, Bishop, and Steele in check while chasing street respect. He wasn't just out there wilding, he had a baby mama and a kid trying to handle real-life responsibilities while still caught up in that block energy. Khalil brought that calm, big brother energy to Raheem, which made it hurt even more when Bishop took him out. Let's be real, that scene was cold. One second, you're trying to talk your boy down, the next, you're catching a bullet from the dude you've been feeding and looking out for. That's how fast loyalty gets flipped in the streets, and Bishop didn't even blink. Khalil Kain was 26 at the time, and Juice put him on the map, leading to roles in Girlfriends, Living Single, and Love Jones. Now 60, Khalil is still acting, directing, and teaching, but for many of us, he'll always be Raheem, the brother who tried to keep the crew together, only to get taken out by his own boy when the hunger for juice became too real. And then we have Steele, played by Jermaine Hopkins. Steele was part of the crew, the big-hearted, funny dude who always tried to keep the vibes light, even when the streets were getting heavy. Everywhere he went, he had that boombox on his shoulder, blasting music while the crew moved through the neighborhood, just trying to live. He wasn't built for that street life like Bishop was pushing for, but he was always down for his boys, even if it meant getting caught up in drama he didn't ask for. And Steele loved to cook. He was the type to pull up with food for everybody, showing he had a soft, caring side that made him easy to love. Jermaine brought a realness to Steele, making him feel like that friend we all had growing up. That's why it was savage when Bishop turned on him, shooting the same dude who was always there for him. Jermaine Hopkins was 19 at the time. Now 51, Jermaine is still acting, but for many of us, he'll always be Steele. the loyal, goofy friend with the boombox who didn't deserve the betrayal that came when the crew's thirst for juice went too far. Next on our list is Trip, played by Samuel L. Jackson. Trip was the local cat who owned the arcade store where the boys would hang out, shoot pool, and run from the cold. He wasn't out there trying to be hard, but he knew everything that went down on the block. Who was beefing, who was hustling, and who was getting into trouble. Trip was the eyes and ears of the neighborhood, always talking trash, dropping jokes, and keeping it real with whoever walked through his door. Samuel brought that raw, no-nonsense energy to Trip, making him feel like that OG every hood has, the one who's seen it all and is quick to tell you when you're moving wrong. Samuel was 43 at the time, still grinding before his breakout roles in Jungle Fever and Pulp Fiction. Now 76, Samuel L. Jackson is a legend in the game, but for those who know, he'll always be remembered as Trip, the local cat holding it down at the arcade, watching the young boys chasing juice while he peeped every move from the corner. Next up is Brian, played by George Gore when he was just 10 years old. Brian was Q's younger brother, always hanging around the house, watching everything with those sharp eyes that saw more than people thought. He was wise beyond his years, picking up on the tension growing between his brother Quincy and Bishop, even when the adults weren't paying attention. You could see it in the way he looked at Q. He knew something was off, and he knew the streets were pulling his brother into something dangerous. George Gore brought a quiet, observant energy to Brian, making him feel like that little brother who sees everything, even when no one is talking. George would go on to star in The Parenthood and My Wife and Kids, becoming a familiar face on Black TV. Now 43, George Gore is still acting and creating, but for many of us, he'll always be Brian, the little brother who saw the streets changing his big brother's world before it all fell apart. The legendary Queen Latifah was also in Juice. She played Roughhouse MC, the no-nonsense club DJ, whose job was to select which DJs got a shot to audition and prove themselves in front of the crowd. She wasn't just up there spinning records. She ran that mic with authority, checking Q and making sure he didn't think he could just walk in and get a spot without earning it. But when Q turned up, rocked the set, and riled up the whole place, you could see she respected it. She saw something in him, that spark that set him apart from the rest. Queen Latifah was just 21 at the time, already making waves as one of hip-hop's rising stars. Now 55, she's a Grammy and Emmy winner, an Oscar nominee, and one of the most respected women in entertainment. But for those who know, she'll always be remembered for stepping into Juice as Roughhouse MC, the young queen who ran the mic and gave Q his shot to light up the club. Let's turn our attention to Radamez, played by Vincent Laresca. Radamez was the street hustler and local tough guy, always looking to start something with Q and his crew, testing their manhood every chance he got. He was that neighborhood menace, rolling with his boys, picking fights, and trying to prove he ran the block. But it was his growing tension with Bishop that took things to another level. Bishop wasn't about to be punked, and in one of the film's coldest moments, he dealt with Radamez, taking him out and claiming that juice for himself, showing just how far he was willing to go for respect in the streets. Vincent Laresca brought a raw, intimidating energy to Radamez, making him feel like that one dude in the neighborhood you tried to avoid to keep the peace. Vincent was just 18 at the time, and Juice was his film debut, opening doors for a career that would include roles in Empire, Romeo and Juliet, and The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift. Now 51, Vincent is still acting, but for many he'll always be remembered as Radamez, the street bully whose clash with Bishop showed just how deadly the thirst for juice could get. And then we have Yolanda, played by Cindy Herron. Yolanda was Q's girlfriend, the one steady thing in his life while everything else was spinning out of control. She wasn't just some background character either. Yolanda brought that mature energy, trying to pull Q away from the chaos, reminding him there was more to life than the streets, and proving he had something and someone worth holding on to. Cindy Herron, better known as a founding member of the R&B group En Vogue, brought poise and presence to Yolanda. Even in her quieter moments, she made it clear. She wasn't about the drama, and she wasn't going to let Q spiral without a fight. That scene where she checks him about skipping school and getting caught up with Bishop? That was real. She saw the writing on the wall and tried to get him to see it too. Juice was one of Cindy's early acting roles, and while her music career soared, she still left her mark on the film. Now in her early 60s, Cindy is still performing and remains a staple in the world of R&B. But in Juice, she'll always be Yolanda, the grounded, no-nonsense queen who tried to keep Q focused while the streets tried to pull him under. Grace Garland, playing Q's mom in Juice, was a mother in every sense of the word, firm, no-nonsense, and not here for the excuses. She didn't have a lot of screen time, but when she showed up, you felt that old-school parental energy, tough love mixed with deep concern. She wasn't blind to what was going on in the neighborhood or in her son's life. She always watched as Q practiced his DJ skills, and even if she didn't say much, you could tell she saw the potential in him. That was her baby, and deep down, she knew he had talent, something real that could take him far from the chaos around him. Grace Garland was 44 at the time of filming and is now 76. Aside from acting, she's also a jazz singer and author, with a career that extends beyond the screen. But in Juice, she'll always be remembered as Q's mama, the quiet force trying to keep her son on the right path, while the streets tried to pull him off it. Let's shine a light on Victor Campos, who played Quillis, the store owner in Juice, where everything started to spiral. Quillis ran the small neighborhood spot where Q, Bishop, Raheem, and Steele pulled their first robbery. But what was supposed to be a quick in and out turned deadly real fast. Quillis wasn't resisting. He was scared, doing what they told him. But Bishop panicked, and in a split-second moment that changed everything, he pulled the trigger. It was cold, unnecessary, and stupid. That was the moment the crew crossed the line, and it was Quillis who paid the price. Victor Campos brought a raw, believable presence to the role, even in those brief minutes. He was 57 at the time of filming, already a seasoned actor with roots going back to the 1970s. A true legend of that era, Campos had a reputation for bringing gritty, grounded characters to life. Sadly, he passed away in 2018 at the age of 83. May he rest in peace. His performance as Quillis may have been short, but it was powerful, and marked the turning point that sent Juice down its dark and unforgettable path. And lastly, we have Eric Payne, who played Frank in Juice. Frank was Yolanda's ex-boyfriend, the one who couldn't let go and clearly wasn't feeling Q stepping into the picture. He was that jealous ex, lurking in the background, salty about being replaced and trying to flex like he still had some kind of claim. Frank didn't have a huge role, but his energy said it all. You could feel the tension every time he popped up, throwing shade and trying to intimidate Q. But Q wasn't backing down, and that only made Frank look even more bitter. He represented that dude who can't handle seeing a woman move on, especially with someone younger and focused. Eric Payne was just 20 years old at the time, bringing that young hothead energy to the role with ease. Now 53, he's continued to act over the years, but in Juice, he'll always be remembered as Frank, the jealous ex who couldn't stand to see Yolanda giving her time to a young king on the rise. And that's it for today's trip back to Juice. These actors didn't just play roles, they brought the raw energy, the brotherhood, and the betrayal to life in a way that still hits today. Decades later, we still feel the impact of Q, Bishop, Steele, Raheem, and the whole crew. If you grew up on Juice, drop your favorite scene in the comments and let me know which character stuck with you the most. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss it when we take it back to the films and the people that shape the culture. This is Let's Remember. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.